We're cruising! We just left Islamorada, Florida, and we're heading up towards Cocoa Beach. So you may be wondering, hang on a second, I thought you were going to sell the boat. How can you be cruising again? Well, that was kind of a process we went through, but we have decided to keep the boat.
That's right, we're not going to sell our boat, and it was a long process, and we didn't say anything sooner because any video we would have showed you on Friday would have been completely outdated information. Because every single day our plans changed, our process changed as we got new information. Monday we thought something, and Tuesday we'd have a completely different plan, and then Wednesday a completely different plan. So I'll make the long story short, but here's kind of how it started.
So we said we were going to sell the boat because the boys wanted to have roots. They wanted to have a home base, a place that they could always come back to. They were tired of leaving their friends. They also wanted their own room. The problem with that is this dang economy. As most of you know, rent's expensive, houses are expensive, and to be honest, we just can't afford that, especially living in the Keys. But what they did is they associated all that moving around with the boat. So what we're going to do is we're going to plant roots with the boat in one location so the boys can still have their roots and we can still afford to live, because we're going to continue to live on the boat because it is the cheapest spot for us to live right now. The main problem with Islamorada and the Florida Keys is it's just so expensive, and they don't have a lot of good marinas, especially in Islamorada. Key West maybe, Marathon maybe, but Islamorada did not. It was, the affordable marinas were either too shallow for us to get into. They didn't allow you to stay year-round. They were transient, so you could do a few months in, a few months out, but you couldn't stay there long-term forever. And, of course, we can't afford a house in the Florida Keys. That's just way too expensive. So the other option would be to live on Anchor. Well, living on Anchor is a hassle, too, because they don't have a public dinghy dock. You got to find somebody or somewhere that you can do that, and they just don't have it. So we were always bouncing around every month or two trying to figure out, how are we going to make this work? This isn't working. What are we going to do?
So when we thought we had sold the boat a couple months ago, we made plans to move to Naples by my parents. And then when the sale fell through, we said, okay, we'll still go to Naples. Oh no, there's no live aboard marinas. So we thought, okay, we'll go to Fort Myers. There's no availability. It was a 3-year wait list. We put our name on every wait list. And now, of course, with the tragedy of Hurricane Ian, there's no marinas available at all anyway. And so we had friends up in Cocoa Beach. They were like, hey, come up here. We drove up to Cocoa Beach, explored the town, loved it. So we decided, you know what, we're just going to do the East Coast, stay in Cocoa Beach. It's a bigger town than the Keys. There's a Walmart. I can go to Target. So the grocery shopping will be easier, cheaper, cost of living. The boys can do youth group, sports, soccer, Cub Scouts, chess club, rock climbing, surfing lessons. So they're excited because there's a lot more opportunities for them in a bigger city. And
we were able to find a marina that was actually affordable that would let us stay long term.
Yeah, so we don't have to bounce around anywhere.
So Coco's going to be our home base. We're going to live there. We're still going to cruise. This gives us the ability to be able to take a month or maybe 2 months or 3 months, go and come back. It's more like a long trip or long vacation. So we still get to have our cruising lifestyle while being rooted in a home base.
Yeah. And then one other thing, when we did think that the boat was for sale and we talked to these people who were interested in buying it, all the different buyers, they were talking about their dreams and their plans with our boat, and I was like, I want to do that. So we're not done with boat life. We're not done with the adventure. We just need to have a home base, and then we'll travel and come back. The next morning, we left Harbour with our buddy boat's discipleship.
Not necessarily in the morning.
Hey Dad, are we only on
Yes, we are. Why do you ask?
Because I only see one boat.
Oh, one where it's pushing? So that's the one that's pushing is the port side, but the starboard engine's still spinning too. You know why? Because
when we move through the water, it's still
it's the water pressure makes the propeller move. That's right. Good question though. Way to be observant. We're cruising on one engine. We're cruising on one engine right now because our buddy boat is a god awful slow sailboat. That's right, Enno. God awful slow. He's wide open at 5 1/4 knots, I think. But we're basically idle on one engine about that same speed. So my fuel burn this trip is going to be really, really good.
We couldn't help but remember what had happened the last time we were in this very channel.
This is the channel where we got waked. Yeah, so you saw that boat just pass me, right? Is there a lot of room there between us and the outside of the channel? And then you can imagine a boat bigger than mine, how close he'd have to be. Yeah. So you see you've got that one coming up behind you. Yeah, it's just, it looks like a center console or something, so it shouldn't be too bad.
We will miss anchoring and docking in the Florida Keys. We are forever changed by all the people that we have met during our time there. We have a few days of cruising. We try to keep a routine of homeschool, and Chris and I made a list of projects that we wanted to do over the next week of our passage. To start with, Chris is going to varnish this table with teak oil. We also use the teak oil on all of the wing doors, the top door, and our top table as well.
Was cruising the other day at work, and somebody was talking to me about the channel markers on the ICW. And normally people ask me how they work, and this guy, it was informing me how they work, and I thought it was pretty creative. He said, "You know why I always know which side the reds are on?" I was like, "Oh, I'll bite. Why?" Well, rednecks live in Central Florida, and so the reds are always on the side that Central Florida's on, so it's always on the inland side. I was like, that's one way to do it, not necessarily wrong. So whatever tricks you got to use to remember. But that being said, not all rednecks live in Central Florida. I mean, take our friends Sailing Zatara. Totally live on the ocean, totally redneck.
Come back next Friday and see why we got stuck on the ICW.